Hello, I'm Sean from Austin Coworking Spaces. I'm here with Trent Saltemeyer from Atmosphere Coworking. How are you doing today?
Doing very well. How are you?
Good. Well, thanks for meeting us today. We want to really talk about things that aren't on the website.
Okay.
Give people a good flavor of this place.
Of course.
Okay. So give me your background first.
Certainly. I was working in the corporate world for the last 15, 20 years, doing software, and transitioned out of there a couple years ago. My reason for getting out of that was I felt like there were a lot of the corporate world is politically charged, and you're not able to interact with people on a real basis as much as you'd like to. And so when I jumped out of there, my dream was to start a place where people could interact with each other on a more realistic basis, on a no agenda, no meetings that are just pointless. So that's where I did the transition from the corporate world over to a co-working space. Yeah.
And this idea has been in your mind for a while, and I want to talk about the history of this location and how you built it out, things like that.
Sure. Yeah. So this here is 5,000 square feet of 3,000 downstairs, 2,000 upstairs, but the entire building was the Pepsi bottling plant.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So it's about 60,000 square feet, and now there's 15 different shops within this space. There's the Eastside Collective, which really great group of architects and engineers right across the way. Juniper Restaurant, Blue Owl Brewery is right around the corner. So we have an interesting little ecosystem that has evolved out of this building. It's taken a few years for it for the construction to be completed, and it's actually still under construction in some parts.
Wow.
But
a couple years. That's long.
That's Austin construction right now. So that's just how it goes. But this building is certainly a part of the old East Austin.
Right. Yeah, it's a nice little location. You got a couple restaurants even across the street. So I think you're in an up and coming area.
Definitely, yeah. It's changing every day. The new restaurants opening every day, and Cesar Chavez ended up being somewhat of a restaurant row. So it's nice to be able to walk down to Juiceland or walk down to all these different restaurants that are close by.
And in terms of parking, when I go downtown, it's a real issue. How are we here with parking?
Yeah, right now parking's free, and there's a parking lot adjacent to the space. So we're all good right now.
That's good.
You know how things evolve in Austin, and there will be paid parking probably in 5 years, but right now we're ample and free.
That's great. So talk about who this space is kind of for, your target, and maybe like some of the unique features.
Sure. Our target market is digital creatives, so that's going to be a lot of graphic designers, marketing specialists, we have a UX designer, programmers, people that typically are working from their laptop or their desktop. So the way that we are helping the community here to work better is we have a couple of larger agencies in here as well, an interactive media agency, and we really want to create this place where a freelancer is able to interact with the larger agency, and they can say the agency has a large project that they need part-time work on. They can find that talent here, and the freelancer can find the opportunity to work with a larger company. So that's what the idea here is, to create this place where people can interact and find work together and become friends together.
Right. No, I like that. That's good. But in terms of space individually, it seems like you have uniquely a lot more open air, more windows than normal. What else would you describe as being?
Well, so I was looking for the place. There are a couple of important details that had to happen. Right. One was it had to be expansive. The idea is that you have you have a wide open space, and it helps you to elevate your thoughts and to have new thoughts. Right. So that's perfect to have this wide open space. The other thing is it to be an old building. It's been said that new ideas happen in old buildings.
Oh yeah, I haven't heard that.
Yeah. So it needed to be something that felt and is a real authentic kind of place. It's not a strip center. It's not just slapped up in an office building. It's something that's that came out of something else.
Yes.
So this is the next iteration of what this building is right now. So.
Right. I like the fact you're kind of in a nook. You're not right on the road. You're in a nook with some other places, so it feels, hey, the noise level's a little bit lower than normal, and it's
kind of semi-private. It's tough to find, which is tough the first time. But then once you come back, you know that you have a little privacy, but you still have the opportunity to walk right outside. So.
Right. Excellent. Well, in terms of the capacity of this place, how many offices do you have, and how many seats would you have for coworkers?
Sure. So we're all open office space here, right? There's no private offices, but we do have 5 conference rooms. There's 4 mid-sized meeting rooms and a large conference room.
Right.
Upstairs we have permanent desk. We have about 25 to 30 permanent desks upstairs, and then the downstairs is for our roaming members to use. And upstairs, the roaming members can use as well when there's available desks.
Okay. So if I'm at a company with 4 or 5 people, what would they typically do? They would grab a dedicated desk upstairs?
If you have a company of 4 and you want to have a permanent desk like that, you probably just grab a 4-top as your permanent solution. We have I mentioned that interactive media agency. They're a larger company of 15.
Wow.
But they have 4 people that work permanently here. Most of their team works virtually. So every Tuesday they get together in the large conference room and have their entire team meet.
Right.
And then they disperse for the day and for the week and work out of their house. But it still gives them the opportunity to meet each other and just talk in person every week. So that interaction is really important for them. But they were able to really cut their office costs from the downtown office space to this. And it's more flexible. So those are the type of people that we're trying to attract. Someone that maybe wants to use the conference room as an event space or use it on a regular basis, but then also have their desk to utilize as well. So it should be a nice blend of that.
Right. Good. Okay, well, let's hear about your passions, your personal story. I mean, you talked about your background, but really kind of your passion why you did this.
Yeah. So the last couple of years, while this has been under construction, I started a network catalyst group, and that's been inspirational for me. Being able to connect people so that they do their work better, I think is where my specialty is. So if I'm able to meet someone and remember that 2 weeks ago there was someone that maybe they should meet.
Right.
And it's tough because you can't force that. You can't. It could be naturally. It's almost like being set up on a date or something, right? Somebody's pushing too hard. You're like, what's wrong with this person? Why are they so available? But if you meet someone and you connect, then you can go from there. And I think that's where my passion and specialty lies, is trying to find 2 people or a group of people and have a way that they can interact naturally and kind of figure out for themselves how they can connect in a
I think a lot of small people don't realize that people pay connectors big money to do things like that. There's guys that make it a business of being a connector, and a lot of people don't realize the value of a joint venture or a partnership.
And that's something that's interesting with this space also is just being able to have the water cooler conversation of that interaction. Serendipitous interaction is one of the little buzzwords that co-working spaces has, but it's true. You're able to take those interactions that maybe would have happened a year from now, but you accelerate that to where it happens 2 months and 3 months and 4 months, and still make it feel natural and make it to where our members are not feeling forced to anything, but they're getting a lot of utility from their relationships.
It's very natural. It's good. So tell us about your future plans that you have for this space.
So we just opened a couple months ago now. We're pretty fresh. We have about 15 members currently signed up that are in the space, and they're great. And my goal is just to build that on that momentum. And over this next year, I want to connect, have my goal is to have 25 really awesome connections that I've helped to develop in this space.
Wow.
So I think if I can make that happen, then the rest of the community in the space will take care of itself. That's my goal, is to make sure people are connecting with each other. And besides that, I mean, I like to be in a kind of inspiring, beautiful space, and so I'm working every day to make this place more inspiring. And
No, I think that's great. I mean, so many places focus on X feature, Y feature, Z feature, and you're focusing on, hey, it's about the connections. Don't be concerned about the walls so much. You know?
Hopefully not as much, right? You forget about all those things when the right people are in the space. All those little amenities that you maybe would bother you because something's not there or you want something, those fade away. At the same time, this has to be a very highly functional, beautiful space for people as well.
Right. That kind of gets into my next topic, which is, hey, what features do people rave about? And what are some of the challenges that they may say, hey, we might have issues with?
Sure. Our weekly Network Catalyst meetings are something people rave about. You know, it's a way to have those conversations that you maybe wouldn't have otherwise. So we all meet in the conference room and go over what our business goals are, what we've been doing the last couple of weeks, what we're going to do the next couple of weeks, and just have a conversation that sometimes we break out into little groups of 3 and 4 so that you can connect with those other people. The challenge really is, I mean, noise is a challenge, right? People need to be on their phone, they need to be, they need to conduct their business, and in an open space, you guys have to be mindful that there's other people in the space. If you're mindful that other people in the space, then you're probably okay. And if you don't know that anyone else is in the space, then you could be a nuisance to it. So that's kind of tough if that's the case. But that's part of what I talk to people about up front, is like, hey, we're part of a community here, and the reason why you'd be in this space is because you do want to talk and connect with other people. But at the same time, a lot of your work is focused work, right? So that's really where upstairs comes into play, is you go upstairs, no one should be bothering you, don't talk to me, I'm just going to be up there and do my stuff. And probably 3/4 of your work should be that focused kind of work, but then you're able to also bring that few hours a week where you talk to someone else. And
sounds like you've been studying the philosophies and the psychology of co-working.
I went into like the 4 tenets of productivity, and that's how I physically laid the space out. And those 4 tenets are you need to be able to learn and socialize, you need to be able to focus and meet people. So so there's a space for every part of that within Atmosphere. And when you're in the focus space, that means that you're focusing. And when you're downstairs at the kitchen, that means that you're a little more open to socializing.
Yeah, interesting. Well, that's good to know. In terms of the Network Catalyst, you called it?
Correct, yeah.
That's part of the membership, or is it separate?
That's part of the membership. I should say it's actually something that we're doing just community.
Anybody can?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So right now it's about half members and half non-members that are doing Network Catalyst.
And then what happens when it gets too big? You're going to do separate times or something of that nature?
I'll expand it out to another day. But right now we have about 12 to 15 that come in.
It sounds like an accountability group almost.
It's very much like that, yeah.
Good. Okay, so go over maybe some testimonials of the space. I know you only been open 2 months, but you maybe want to talk about it.
Yeah. One of our members, Danielle, yesterday, it was nice. She came up and said, you know what, I worked here for 7 hours and I got 3 more billable hours than I typically would have from my house, right? So that made me $150 just for today, right? Because she's usually distracted by the dishwasher, by the dog, and by the kid stuff. And there's just stuff that's going on. And you can get that from a lot of different spaces that you might go to. But I think when you concentrate on up front letting people know this is a space for productivity, this is what you do, you get your work done here. It's not anything else but a place that you really focus in on what you think you have to do to grow your business. So that's what I'm trying to bring to the people here. And so far, that's what everyone has expressed. Is like, man, it's great to be able to connect with other people. It's great to have a place that's productive. Another testimonial, there's from our Catalyst group, Ashland and Claire, where they met there a few months ago, or actually it's been a year now, and over time they built a partnership, and now they're running Social Media Week in Austin coming up in February, right? So they partnered together to produce an event. But that was because they had natural interaction, that they could decide that they connect with each other and they want to work together.
Yeah, it takes a lot. I've worked with many people, and a partnership's like a marriage, so it takes time to cultivate.
Yeah, and the divorce is tough if you want to go through that too. It's a lot of the same type of pitfalls that you can get into, and a lot of the same opportunities. Two is stronger than one, but it has to be the right person.
Right, makes sense. Okay, so talk about your socials and things like that, maybe after work, or even during work.
Sure, yeah. So we've had open houses, social hours. We're still getting underway as far as the cadence on how we're going to do that. But yeah, I think food and alcohol are always two nice components that people like to bring to the table. So we're still fleshing out how those are going to come monthly.
Right.
But potlucks and social hours are part of the equation.
On the agenda. Okay. Excellent. And in terms of, I've been to co-working spaces where when a place has an event, the coworkers need to evacuate. Right. How would that work here?
For here, upstairs is always going to be available for our co-working members. We will occasionally have events downstairs, but yeah, upstairs is always for our co-workers.
So if somebody comes in the evening and people want to co-work, they just go upstairs if...
Correct. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and our events are typically going to be more of a Friday and Saturday type of event. But yeah, always available upstairs.
Okay. Yeah. Good. And well, I think that kind of sums up a lot of what Atmosphere is all about.
All
so
right.
I appreciate your time, and you want to give any closing remarks before we break?
Just that. When you're choosing a co-working space, I think it has to feel right. It's just like a partner. You have to go in, you have to have that emotional resonance. And so if people are looking at a space, I think, go with your gut on it, right? Walk in, if it feels right, and the people in there seem like a good fit for you, then go with that instinct, I think, as opposed to trying to do a checklist of everything. Just go with what feels right, and I think you'll probably do well as far as co-working is concerned.
Exactly. That's well said. So I encourage all the viewers to come check out Atmosphere on the east side. And appreciate your time, Trent.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.